Claude. Claude was the heartbeat of AFTV. He wasn't polished, he wasn't trying to be a celebrity, he was a fan. The kind of supporter who lived and breathed Arsenal in every sense. His frustration, his disappointment, his unfiltered emotion, that was the raw power that made AFTV go viral in the first place. When Arsenal lost, Claude didn't hide behind analysis or numbers. He said what every fan wanted to scream. He carried that pain on his face. He was passionate, sometimes too passionate, and that's what made him loved by so many. But the same fire that made Claude unforgettable also made him vulnerable. As AFTV grew from a small fan channel to global media brand, the space for mistakes grew smaller. One wrong word, one offhand comment, it could mean disaster. And in 2020, disaster struck. During a live stream, Claude made a remark that many people found offensive. Within hours, social media erupted. The clip spread fast, and AFTV found itself under immense pressure to respond. Sponsors, viewers, and critics were all watching to see what Robbie and the team would do. AFTV made a decision. They released a statement distancing themselves from Claude. They said the comment didn't reflect their values and that he would no longer appear on the channel. It was an abrupt end to one of the most recognizable figures in fan media. For some, it felt like betrayal. For others, it was a necessary move to protect the platform. But for Claude, it was devastating. The man who helped make AFTV what it was had been cut off from it entirely. Fans never forgot him. Even after his departure, people commented under every video asking about him. And when Claude passed away in 2021, the sadness was real, deep, and shared across football fan bases. He wasn't just an AFTV character. He was a symbol of what being a football fan really means: passion, pain, and pure authenticity. Claude's departure was the moment everything changed. It was when the world realized AFTV wasn't just a fan channel anymore. It was a business, a big one, and business always has limits. DT. After Claude, another giant of AFTV would fall. If Claude was the heart, DT was the fire. He was emotional, explosive, and completely unapologetic. He argued with Robbie, he clashed with other fans, and he gave viewers exactly what they came for: unfiltered chaos and truth. He made headlines, he made memes, and he made AFTV unforgettable. For years, DT's intensity drove the channel. He was the man who spoke with anger but also with passion, the fan who demanded better from the club he loved. But in early 2022, the story turned dark. News broke that DT had been sentenced for a serious personal offense. It shocked everyone: fans, fellow creators, even Robbie himself. In a single day, everything changed. AFTV moved quickly. Robbie released a statement saying DT would no longer be part of the channel. There were no second chances, no gradual fade-out. Just gone. The reaction was complicated. Some fans felt sympathy, remembering how much DT had given to AFTV. Others felt anger and disappointment. But one thing was clear: another founding pillar of AFTV had crumbled. DT's fall wasn't about football, it was about life. It was about how fame and exposure can bring both power and pressure, and how a single mistake can erase years of loyalty. His exit left a hole, because love him or hate him, DT made AFTV electric. His passion created moments that no script could ever replicate. Troops. Not long after, the spotlight turned to Troops, the man whose energy defined the golden era of AFTV. Troops brought something different. He wasn't just passionate, he was charismatic. He had the street slang, the humor, the reactions that made every clip go viral. His catchphrases, blood, fam, became internet language. His chemistry with Robbie and DT was lightning in a bottle. They argued, laughed, and shouted their way into football YouTube history. But Troops was ambitious. He saw what was coming: the rise of football influencers, the global audience for fan content. He realized AFTV had taken him as far as it could. And when the offer came from Barstool Sports in the United States, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. A new country, his own show, back again with Troops and creative control. This wasn't a messy exit or a scandal. It was growth. Troops didn't leave in anger, he left to expand. Robbie publicly supported him, and the two stayed on good terms. Still, his departure marked the end of something special. When Troops left, AFTV lost a kind of magic that couldn't be replaced. The chemistry between him, DT, and Robbie had made millions of people tune in every week. Without him, that unpredictability faded. His move to America proved that AFTV was more than a platform. It was a launchpad. It could turn ordinary fans into global personalities. But it also showed that nobody, not even the biggest stars, would stay forever. Kelechi. Then there was Kelechi. If DT brought the fire and Troops brought the humor, Kelechi brought the joy. He was positivity in human form, singing, praying, celebrating even after tough losses. His Nigerian songs and bright smile made AFTV feel warm, even when the football was terrible. But as the channel got bigger, the atmosphere changed. The spontaneous, joyful tone of early AFTV gave way to frustration, arguments, and debate shows. The raw energy turned more serious, more commercial. And for someone like Kelechi, who thrived on positivity and community, that shift didn't fit. His exit wasn't loud. There was no drama, no public statement, no fallout. He simply appeared less and less until he was gone. Later, fans saw him doing work with Arsenal's official media, representing supporters in a completely different light. He found his place in a more structured, professional space, a far cry from the chaos of AFTV. For him, leaving wasn't failure. It was growth. He chose peace over pressure, happiness over heat. Mo. Another departure that carried weight was Mo Hader. Mo had been part of AFTV for years. Calm, intelligent, and articulate, he stood out in a sea of heated reactions. He spoke with reason, sometimes when others shouted with rage. But Mo's story wasn't about controversy on camera. It was about values behind the scenes. As AFTV became bigger, more commercial, and more brand-conscious, boundaries appeared. Topics off the pitch, social issues, political stances, human rights became sensitive areas. Mo wanted to use his platform to speak freely on matters he believed in. But AFTV, now a media company with sponsors, wanted to avoid the risk. That creative friction built quietly until it became clear that both sides needed space. Mo left, later explaining that independence was more important to him than exposure. His story showed the other side of AFTV's success, the loss of creative freedom that comes when a fan channel becomes a brand. Mo's departure wasn't emotional like Claude, or scandalous like DT's. It was philosophical. It was about the right to speak without restraint. Expressions. Then came Expressions oozing the wild card. A Tottenham fan, yet somehow part of the AFTV ecosystem. His friendship with Troops created moments that fans from all sides loved. The back-and-forth banter between Arsenal and Spurs represented football rivalry at its funniest. But once Troops left for the US, the dynamic changed. Expressions didn't have the same reason to appear on AFTV. Instead, he focused on his own growing channel. He had built a massive following with his humor and originality. He didn't need AFTV to shine anymore. Departure wasn't dramatic. It was natural. He was building his own empire, his own voice, and his own brand. In many ways, Expressions represented what the new generation of football YouTubers became, independent creators who could thrive without big platforms. His success outside AFTV showed that the platform had done its job. It created stars. By this point, the departures had piled up. One by one, the faces that made AFTV iconic were gone. The fiery debates, the memes, the unpredictability, all replaced by a more polished, professional product. Fans noticed. The comment sections were filled with nostalgia. People missed the rawness, the chaos, the emotion that couldn't be scripted. But that's what happens when a passion project becomes a powerhouse. Growth always costs something. Each departure told a different story, but together they painted a clear picture of AFTV's evolution. Claude's exit showed how fragile fame could be. DT's downfall proved that personal choices can destroy public legacies. Troops' move showed ambition and vision, how far the platform had taken him. Kelech's quiet goodbye reflected the loss of innocence and positivity in a louder, angrier environment. Mo's split showed how structure can silence expression. And Expressions' departure proved that the new generation no longer needed big media to succeed. Subscribe for more.